What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel, where today I have a nice little doubleheader for you featuring Lollipop Chainsaw and Shadows of the Damned. And to be honest, I have been going back and forth on this one a little bit in my head, kind of struggling with it a tad, um, because doing it this way was not my original intention. And by doing it this way, I am in no way, shape, or form trying to imply that one of these games is superior to the other. It's just that, when attempting to express what I may like or dislike about one, I just found the other kind of naturally coming up in the dialogue of my brain. Um, and I just figured that kind of doing this in a comparison style would ultimately kill two birds with one stone, being that they are, of course, from the same developer and everything. Um, so I guess going into this from an opinion standpoint, I just want you guys to know that, I love these games equally. They're both great. Um, but I just feel like they are two very different games for two very different moods. For example, Lollipop Chainsaw is a hack and slash style game, whereas Shadows of the Damned is a third-person shooter. Aesthetically, uh, Lollipop Chainsaw is brighter, more cheery, rainbows and sparkles everywhere, set to a much more upbeat, poppy sort of soundtrack featuring songs like Lollipop and Hey Mickey, whereas with Shadows, it is, set in hell, right? So, it's going to be darker, more grimy, more grotesque in places, and it's set to more hard rock and or heavy metal music. Um, but I feel probably the biggest divide between the games for me personally was in the writing, or I guess you could say the comedy stylings. Um, I just feel like Shadows, in a sense, is more one dimensional. Um, it's very much, dudes being bros style comedy, right? It's toilet humor. It's um, dick and pussy jokes all over the place, which, don't get me wrong, I love as much as the next guy. I don't want to give you guys the false impression that I am somehow above that, because I'm not. I just found that that the delivery kind of wore me down a little bit faster. Maybe in a sense overstayed its welcome. Especially when I got to the segments of the game where I struggled a little bit and was dying, and being forced to experience the dialogue and the same punchlines um, a couple times over. I was just feeling kind of fatigued, or worn out by the end. But with Lollipop Chainsaw, I feel like they knew exactly the character that they had with Juliet Starling. That perky blonde in the skimpy cheerleader outfit. I feel like they knew exactly gamers were going to respond to her, and in a sense, they knew how other characters in the game were going to respond to her. And I felt like there was kind of this clever balance between the obvious low-hanging fruit and giving her this depth that I wasn't necessarily expecting her to have when you consider, everything else going on with it within this game. So I found that to be quite surprising and enjoyable. Um, Another kind of clear divide between the games are, the endings, I guess, or the games kind of all the way around. Um, while each Pop Chainsaw for me, while I certainly wouldn't bat an eye at playing a sequel or at the very least something else set in the same universe, I don't feel like it's 100% necessary. I felt narratively that it kind of shores itself up pretty nicely, um, and feels much more just like a one-off experience. Whereas Shadows of the Damned is clearly meant to be part of something bigger, whether it is a full blown series or at least a sequel. I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger to a sequel that I think all of the fans want, that we still haven't gotten, and at this point, I don't know if it's ever gonna come. Where is it? Sadly, I think we can all just probably at this point add it to the long list of ever-growing games that deserve sequels. They deserve more, that we're probably just not going to get. Um, but in closing, again, I love these games. That they're both great, and over the years they've both become some of my personal favorites. I love the dynamics of being able to play as memorable characters. Once you meet both of these characters, you're not going to forget them anytime soon. But I love the dynamics of being able to play as these badass characters, um, doing these badass things in their respective universes and everything, but still being, entertained and laughing my ass off the whole time, and just being able to kind of let loose and have fun with it in some aspects. Um, and I could not recommend either one of them enough. So if you're somebody watching this that hasn't played either one of these games, I would highly recommend that you do. But until next time, guys, as always, take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the next video.